Jai Gurudev. Today we have the immense privilege of speaking with the senior faculty member of the Art of Living Foundation. Our conversation will take a deep dive into the timeless story of Lord Krishna lifting the Govardhan mountain and explore how, in today's complex world, the wisdom of His Holiness Gurudev Shri Shri Ravi Shankar Ji and the spiritual practices like Sudarshan Kriya, Agni Karyam, Sandhya Vandanam, Upanayam, and various pujas and mantras serve as our own Govardhan, a spiritual mountain that shelters us from inner and outer storms, Jagadev. Yes, it's an honor and a joy to be here. The story of Govardhan and its relevance today is such a beautiful subject. Let's begin with the story. Could you retell the Govardhan Leela in detail and help us understand the deeper spiritual meaning behind it? Yes, Jagadev, this Leela, which unfolds in the sacred land of Vrindavan, begins with a simple but a profound act of inquiry. When Lord Krishna was still a young boy, he noticed the villagers of Vrindavan preparing elaborate offerings for Lord Indra, the deity of rain. Curious, he asked Nanda Baba why they were doing this. Nanda explained that Indra provides rainfall essential for their crops and cattle. But Krishna, with that ever compassionate smile and the wisdom of the universe sparkling in his eyes, gently challenged the tradition. He said, why not worship the Govardhan hill and the cows who truly sustain us? He urged them to shift their reverence from unseen deities to the very source of life before them, Mother Earth, nature, and Dharma. Following Krishna's advice, the villagers made offerings to the Govardhan hill. This upset Lord Indra, who felt slighted. In his anger, he unleashed a torrential storm upon Vrindavan, rains that threatened to wash away homes, cattle, and lives. And then came the divine miracle. Krishna, barely 7 years old, lifted the massive Govardhan hill with just his little finger. For 7 days, all of Vrindavan took refuge beneath this hill. He stood there, effortlessly smiling, giving everyone strength. This act was not just a miracle, it was a message that true strength lies not in brute force, but in dharma, love, and protection of life. That's so beautifully said. How do we interpret this today? What is the Govardhan of our times? Yes, today the storms may not come as rains or floods, but they come in the form of mental stress, emotional turmoil, ecological imbalance, pandemic, anxiety, relationship struggles, identity crisis, exams, job problems, relationship problems, future of work. People are battling loneliness, burnout, disconnection from nature, and a lack of purpose. And just like the villagers of Vrindavan, we need a shelter, a mountain of resilience. For millions today, that shelter is the wisdom and practices given by His Holiness Gurudev Shri Shri Ravi Shankar Ji. This living tradition through meditation, Sudarshan Kriya, Agni Karyam, Gayatri Mantra chanting, Upanayanam, Sandhya Vandanam, Padma Sadhana, Shakti Kriya, and many more acts as a spiritual Govardhan. It lifts the weight of our fears and offers sanctuary from life's deluge. Could you share how specific practices function like different parts of the Govardhan mountain, each with a role in protecting us? Of course, let's explore them one by one. Sudarshan Kriya, this is the breath of Govardhan itself. It purifies the pranic body, removes toxins of stress, and builds emotional resilience. Just like the rains fell relentlessly, stress falls upon us daily. Sudarshan Kriya shields us like the cool shade under the mountain. Agni Karya Mantrikal Sandhya. These fire rituals and timed prayers are acts of reconnecting with the cosmic rhythm. Fire is transformation. It digests the impurities of our karmas. Performing Agni Karam every day is like invoking Krishna's finger, holding our life steady. Upanayanam and Sandhya Vandanam. These ancient samskaras are like spiritual armor. Upanayanam opens the inner vision, the third eye. Sandhya Vandanam, performed thrice a day, keeps the consciousness aligned like compass points guiding the mind through daily storms. Padma Sadhana and Shakti Kriya, these are the stillness and dynamism of the mountain. Padma Sadhana awakens the silence while Shakti Kriya activates the energy. One anchors you, the other empowers you, just like Krishna stood firm but held up the mountain effortlessly. These are vibrations of light. The Gayatri Japa and mantra chanting. The Gayatri mantra itself is like a divine umbrella. It illuminates the intellect, dispels ignorance, and invokes the grace of the Divine Mother. The mountain was physical, but these mantras form a vibrational shelter. The Vedas, pujas, and homas, which we see in the Art of Living Ganapati temple in Gurukul, these are devotional acts that refine our environment. Homas purify the air, the energy around us. Just like Krishna created a sacred space beneath Govardhan, these rituals create a space of divine frequency around us. wisdom talks of Gurudev, his talks filled with humor, love, and insight, are like Krishna's flute, melodious, awakening, and guiding. They dispel confusion just as Krishna's words gave clarity to the villagers. Is there also a collective dimension to this Govardhan, how the community uplifts each other? Yes, absolutely. In the Govardhan Leela, it was not just Krishna's act, it was a collective shelter. Everyone came together under one mountain, one shelter, one consciousness. In the art of living, the Sangha, the community, or satsang is just that we meditate together, chant together, serve together, grow together. Whether it is Seva projects, Navratri Homas, Rudra Puja, Devi Puja, or even online wisdom series, we become each other's Govardhan. How can a seeker today internalize this Leela? The Leela is not a tale from 5,000 years ago. It is happening now. Every time you sit to meditate in the chaos of a busy day, you are lifting your Govardhan. Every time you do Agni Karyam before your morning coffee, or chant Gayatri Mantra before starting your laptop, or even smile when the world is tense, you are under Krishna's mountain. It is not about lifting a rock, it's about holding space for others, staying steady in service, and trusting the divine to guide us. One last question. How does Gurudev's presence reflect Krishna's spirit today? Gurudev is not here to show miracles but to awaken the miracle within us. Like Krishna, he gently nudges us from superstition to inner wisdom, from blind ritual to conscious living, of science and technology, from fear to love. In every Sudarshan Kriya, in every satsang, in every Upanayam he conducts, and every silence program he leads, he is lifting a Govardhan within us, a spiritual ecosystem that shelters our soul. Thank you. That was deeply enriching. May we all walk beneath the Govardhan of wisdom and service, and may Krishna and Gurudev continue to uplift this world. Jai Gurudev. May we all become Govardhan for each other. Jai Gurudev. Jai Gurudev, earlier you mentioned that practices like Sudarshan Kriya and Gayatri Japa act like different parts of the Govardhan mountain. Could you expand on how these act as protective layers in daily life? Yes, indeed. Each practice is like a specific aspect of the Govardhan Hill, a rock, a tree, a cave, a waterfall, each part offering unique shelter and strength. Sudarshan Kriya is like the base foundation of the mountain. It clears stress, balances the nervous system, and harmonizes emotions. This enables you to withstand challenges with a smile. Just as the villagers stood beneath the Govardhan, safe and calm, Gayatri Japa is a light shining through the clouds. It purifies the intellect and brings clarity like sunlight filtering through the rain under Govardhan. Gayatri brings hope and inner illumination. Trikal Sandhya and Agnikaram are like the sacred fire burning in the cave of the mountain. These align you with cosmic time, grounding your body and mind in the present, past and future with gratitude and discipline, while Shakti Kriya and Padma Sadhana represent the inner energy channels. Shakti and stillness, these uplift you from tamas or inertia, and rajas or restlessness into sattva, that is purity and balance, which is what Krishna was embodying through his playful firmness. Many people see Upanayana and Sandhya Vandanan as traditional, even outdated. How do these actually connect with Krishna's message of practical dharma? That's a powerful question. Krishna never rejected tradition, he redefined it. Upanayana is the spiritual initiation into the Gayatri path, the path of light and knowledge. It's like being handed your personal Govardhan, your own strength. Sandhya Vandanam is not ritual for the sake of ritual. It is about aligning yourself with Sandhya, the junctions of time, dawn, noon, and dusk, when nature is in transition. When we honor those moments through mantras and pranayama, we harmonize with the very rhythm of the cosmos. That's true yoga. Like Krishna lifted Govardhan with just his little finger, what does that symbolize in the context of one's personal spiritual practice? That's a beautiful observation. Krishna's little finger shows us that divine strength lies in the subtlest. In the same way, your smallest effort in sadhana, just 10 minutes of mantra chanting, or even one sincere meditation can uplift your entire consciousness. It tells us that even one individual rooted in truth can protect and uplift many. When you do your practices with sincerity, you become a pillar not just for yourself, but for your family, your workplace, your community. What role do seva, satsang, and sadhana and sangha play in strengthening the Govardhan within us? Imagine if each person in Vrindavan had run in fear instead of gathering under the mountain. That's the power of Sangha coming together. Seva or selfless service is like anchoring your Govardhan. When you serve, you dissolve the ego and allow divine grace to flow through you. Satsang or company of truth is the warmth under the mountain. It reminds you that you are not alone. The stories, songs, and wisdom create an uplifting atmosphere that nourishes the soul. Sangha, or the spiritual community, is the community standing together in faith and joy. Alone you may shake in storm, together you dance beneath the rain. In the story, Indra's ego leads to the storm. In today's world, what is Indra and how do we deal with such storms? Today's Indra manifests as the ego of intellect, the pressure to conform, the fear of missing out, and constant external validation. It's the internal dialogue that says, I must prove myself, I must be better than others. These pressures create emotional storms of anxiety, jealousy, burnout. Spiritual practices act as an umbrella. Meditation humbles the ego. Chanting softens ambition. Silence reconnects you to your inner Krishna who smiles through the storms. And once you connect with that, the Indra within also surrenders, just like the celestial Indra bowed down to Krishna in the end. How many people wonder, do homas and pujas really help? In this technological age, how do they matter? That's like asking, do trees matter in a city? Yes, they do. In fact, more than ever before. Homas and pujas are technologies of the inner world. The vibrations of Vedic mantras, especially when chanted collectively, affect the environment on a subtle level. Fire has memory, it carries our intentions to the cosmos. In the Govardhan story, when Krishna shifted the villagers' offerings to Govardhan Hill, he was emphasizing context and consciousness over blind ritual. Today, Gurudev brings the same message. He teaches us to do rituals with awareness, not superstition, with intention, not fear. Final question. In essence, how do we become Govardhan for others? That's a beautiful closure. To become Govardhan is to be stable, compassionate, and uplifting. Every time you hold space for a friend in pain, you are lifting a Govardhan. Every time you teach someone Sudarshan Kriya or share knowledge from Gurudev's talks, you are Krishna's little finger. Govardhan is not a rock, it is resilience born of love. When your life becomes a shelter to others through wisdom, through silence, through service, you are living the living Govardhan in the Kali Yuga. Thank you from the heart. This dialogue has truly felt like sitting beneath the mountain of grace. Jai Gurudev, may we all live protected by dharma, empowered by sadhana, anchored in seva and love. Jai Gurudev. So, Jai Gurudev, in the Govardhan story, Lord Krishna teaches us to honor nature over a blind ritual. How is this reflected in art of living practices? Yes, that's a central message. When Krishna told the villagers to worship Govardhan Hill, instead of Indra, he was realigning them with dharma rooted in ecology and awareness. Similarly, His Holiness Gurudev Shri Ravi Shankarji emphasizes honoring Prakriti or nature through daily practices of eco-conscious living, yagyas for environment, rainwater harvesting, and trees planting, and even the way we breathe. Sudarshan Kriya helps regulate the inner ecosystem, your prana, your emotions. Agni Karyam honors the outer environment, the five elements, while Seva projects under Art of Living, like rejuvenating rivers and planting trees, are the modern worship of Govardhan. Lord Krishna lifts the mountain playfully with a smile. What does this childlike quality represent in spiritual life? Krishna's Leela is never burdened, even while doing something as miraculous as lifting a mountain. He remains playful and light. This teaches us the importance of lightness and sadhana. Gurudev often says, spirituality is being natural and childlike, not childish. Practices like bhajans and chanting and satsangs and padma sadhana and shakti kriya restore our inner innocence. That's how, even in stressful environments, we stay cheerful and light, just as Krishna stood smiling, his flute tucked under his arm, holding Govardhan like a parasol. When you meditate deeply, that burden of life lifts. You don't escape life, you rise above it playfully. Krishna challenged tradition, yet he upheld dharma. How do we discern the difference in modern life? Yes, Jai Gurudev, that's a profound distinction. Dharma is not about rituals, it's about righteousness, harmony, and inner alignment. Krishna did not reject yagyas altogether, he reoriented them. Likewise, Gurudev teaches that Upanayanam, Sandhya Vandanam, and Gayatri Japa are not mechanical routines, they are powerful inner alignment. Sandhya Vandanam brings discipline and awareness of divine time. Gayatri Japa illuminates the intellect and harmonizes thought, while Agni Karam purifies and energizes the space. When done with awareness and joy, these become acts of dharma, not dogma. Krishna's lifting of Govardhan is the lifting of true dharma over blind practice. What does this rainstorm by Indra represent in our times, and how do we find shelter under Govardhan? Today's rainstorm is uncertainty, anxiety, fear, social pressure, economic instability, and spiritual confusion. Indra is not just a celestial ego, he is symbolic of the unstable mind, of misplaced authority, of power without compassion. Your spiritual practices are the Govardhan shelter, daily meditation in the cave under the mountain. Sudarshan Kriya is a rhythmic sound of Krishna's flute that calms the thunder, while chanting Vishnu Sahasranama or Lalita Sahasranama becomes the protective vibration. Pujas and homas done in your home sanctify the atmosphere, like how Krishna sanctified the mountain itself. Once you are under this protection, the storm outside may continue, but it won't touch your inner sky of Sudarshan Kriya Yoga. One boy lifting a mountain, how is that possible? How can we embody such strength? The story tells us that when one is aligned with truth and devotion, then infinite strength flows through them. Krishna didn't lift the mountain alone, he was holding it for the sake of others. But behind him stood the faith of the villagers, love of the gopis, support of the Sangha. Similarly, when one person sincerely does Sanyam sadhana of self restraint and silence, or mantra chanting, or pujas and japas with sankalpa, firm intention, Trikal Sandhya, or Gayatri chanting, it uplifts not just them but their entire family and even their ancestors. When you follow Guru's wisdom and surrender to the path, your life becomes that finger, effortless strength with infinite grace. What happened after the storm is over? Storm is over. What can we learn from the celebration that followed? Once the storm stopped, the villagers realized Krishna was not just a boy but God Himself. They danced, they offered gratitude, and they celebrated life with renewed awareness. This is what happens after deep sadhana, after satsang, after a silence course. You feel reborn. The storm cleanses, the mountain shelters, and Krishna smiles. When we do advanced meditation programs or silence retreats, mantra chanting, and group pujas, seva projects with full heart, we re enter life with gratitude, joy, and deep inner silence. The post Govardhan celebration is symbolic of what happens when we walk the path of Guru's grace. Life becomes a festival, not a burden. Jai Gurudev.